The printer is an essential peripheral device for computers that transfers information from a computer onto paper. The creator of this technology was IBM, which introduced the first printer in 1953. This early printer used dots to print text. Over time, new printing technologies emerged. For example, in 1969, Xerox engineer Gary Starkweather developed the world's first laser printer. This type of printer follows several steps to transfer text or images from a computer onto paper. First, the printer receives the data of what needs to be printed. Next, a special drum inside the printer is charged. Then, the laser removes the charge where the letters or images should appear. A toner is applied, sticking only to the charged areas where the text or image will be. And finally, the paper passes through a heater, where the toner is baked onto the page. Lastly, let's talk about dot matrix printers. In 1964, engineer Robert Howard introduced the first dot matrix printer. Their working principle is quite simple. The printer has multiple pins that move up and down, transferring ink onto the paper, while the paper moves along the axis, allowing the pins to print across the entire sheet. A scanner is a device that performs the opposite function of a printer. While a printer transfers digital information onto paper, a scanner digitizes information from paper. This invention was first conceived by Richard Scanner in 1957, and the technology was named after him. There are various types of scanners, each serving a specific purpose. Flatbed scanners are the most common type, where the item to be scanned is placed on a glass surface, and the scanning head moves underneath the glass. Sheet-fed scanners automatically feed sheets of paper while scanning, making them convenient for processing large volumes of material. Handheld scanners, which you move manually across a document, are prized for their portability and compactness. Lastly, there are 3D scanners, a more modern technology that creates digital models by capturing the shape and structure of objects. These are commonly used in fields like medicine and industrial design. A keyboard is an input device used to enter data into a computer. However, the keyboard appeared later than the computer itself. So how were data input into computers initially? This was achieved through the installation of mechanical switches and wires or using punch cards. Over time, as computers became more powerful, the need arose to input commands without interrupting the computer's operation. In 1956, at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Douglas Ross attempted to connect an electric keyboard, and this experiment is considered the first successful attempt. In the early days of keyboards, there were no standards for key layouts, but today there are 3 main keyboard layouts: ANSI, the American standard ISO, the European standard, and JIS, the Japanese layout. The keyboards also differ in form factor. The main ones are the full-size keyboard, the tankless 80% keyboard, which became popular due to laptops, as they often use this type of keyboard. It is also convenient because it takes up less desk space. There's also the 75% keyboard, which reduces the spacing between keys and removes some of them, and finally the 60% keyboard, which lacks the row of function keys. A computer mouse is considered a pointing device used to control the cursor on a monitor screen. There are many types of mice, but we will discuss just a few of them. Mechanical mice are where it all began. The construction of such a mouse includes a rubberized ball that moves special rollers, which in turn transmit information to specific sensors. Next are optical mice, which operate based on a sensor that photographs the surface beneath the mouse. Lastly, there are laser mice, whose principle of operation can be guessed from the name. They work using a laser. All these types of mice are similar in that they have 2 main buttons and a scroll wheel, which can also be pressed to trigger certain functions. Nowadays, there are modern mice with many additional buttons. They gained popularity when graphical user interfaces started appearing in computers. In laptops, the touchpad can be used as a mouse alternative. The mouse was invented by Douglas Engelbart in 1963, and it wasn't until 5 years later that the first mouse was showcased at the Interactive Devices exhibition on December 9, 1968. The monitor originated in England, where the first monitor in the world was created at Cambridge University in 1950. Over time, much has changed. Let's compare modern monitors with the very first monitor ever made. The main difference, of course, is the display technology. Older monitors used cathode ray tube CRT technology, while modern monitors use liquid crystal display LCD technology. This directly impacted the image quality. For example, the first monitor had a resolution of 320 x 200 pixels, a refresh rate of about 50 Hz, and lacked color reproduction. The first monitor was black and white. Modern monitors can display resolutions up to 8K, with refresh rates over 240 Hz, and offer excellent color accuracy. Another major difference between the first monitor and modern ones, which also affects image quality, is the method of connection. Older monitors used VGA connections, while modern monitors can use various connections such as HDMI, USB-C, and DisplayPort. Speakers are devices designed to output sound from a computer, converting digital signals into audible sound waves. The first prototype of modern speakers was created by two American engineers, Edward Kellogg and Chester Rice, who developed the principle of converting electrical signals into sound vibrations, a principle still used in modern speakers today. Delving into history, we find that in 1876, Alexander Graham Bell patented the first electric loudspeaker, which, while not exactly the same as today's speakers, was a precursor. A major factor that contributed to this invention was the discovery of electromagnetic induction in 1831 by Michael Faraday, which laid the groundwork for the development of sound reproducing technologies.